Bitcoin price prediction. Why Bitcoin could rocket to $400,000 in 2021. Because I've got bills to pay. The price of Bitcoin has soared by 400% since its latest bull run, but it's not good enough for anybody. They want more. Even Tesla billionaire Elon Musk wants more, but he also wants Dogecoin to go up. Now, a Bloomberg analyst has predicted the Bitcoin price could hit $400,000 this year. He says the technical outlook for Bitcoin in 2021 remains strongly upward if past patterns repeat. He says that Bitcoin is on similar ground as the roughly 55x gain in 2013 and 15x in 2017. To reach price extremes akin to those years in 2021, the crypto would approach $400,000 based on the regression since the 2011 high. Josh Segala, will the price of Bitcoin break $400,000 this year?
It could. I mean, if Forbes says so. Yeah, I love how they pull out these like experts and everyone's like, ooh, Forbes is now saying 400. And then what happens is after the fact, they're like, yes, who we got on the show today? The guy that predicted 400 and it's now there. Like, what a genius. And there's so many of those people now because there's 21 million of these things. There's never going to be any more. Of course, it's going to reach some ridiculous price eventually. And I'm surprised it's already at 50. I mean, the real question is, where is your moon?
Ben Ark.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a bit of a reach, but I think like $250,000 is very feasible. And I think that was our target originally in this bull run. When you go across, when you look at all the historical runs and then just literally superimpose the hockey stick on the chart, then we end up at like 230k. Doesn't feel like a top at the moment at all, really. Like, obviously it's high, and everyone, it's eye-wateringly high, but it doesn't feel like it did in 2017. Doesn't feel like completely unreasonable. And we've only just started having these big investment firms and funds joining in. So there's still a load of like low-hanging fruit for people for people buying into Bitcoin. So yeah, no, maybe not 400k. That might be a bit of a reach, but this is part of the game, isn't it? Is that now we start to get the ridiculous predictions, and the person who can predict the highest is the person who hits the headlines in the papers. So it's kind of incentivized. But I think 200,000 is actually fairly reasonable, which is insane. I'm amazed at the cost of sats. Like, I'm so used to playing around with like Lightning Network and throwing these sats around, and now I'm like throwing sats around and for like 10,000 sats or whatever, and then I think, oh crikey, that's actually worth money now. It's not like throwaway chump change. It's actually worth money. So I can't do that anymore. And then I don't want to look back at all the sats which I've just given out or thrown around without thinking about how much it's going to go up in the future. But yeah, I think 230,000 makes sense, and then in the future, obviously higher. But 400k is a bit of a reach.
Martine Wishmayer, will the price of Bitcoin break 399,999.99 because 400 is too much for Ben?
Putting a time frame on it is difficult, but what we've seen in the past, it was always gradually and then suddenly. So where this bull run will take us, I don't know. As I think Ben just said, it's it's all-time high price almost, and we're not even like in the FOMO craziness yet. So it looks like the new normal. So it wouldn't surprise me. It is true that we get these more bullish, most bullish predictions. And then Bloomberg said it will be 500,000 in 2025. So, if you make the higher prediction, everybody will like and retweet you. So I think this is why they do it. But as I said, it wouldn't surprise me. This is why, we don't give investment advice, but here at World Crypto Network, we're not selling either.
Martine, that's part of my favorite joke from the Great Depression. They say, oh, how did you go broke, Mr. Rockefeller? And he says, at first slowly, and then all at once. Dan, Eve, your thoughts on the Bitcoin price?
Well, the problem is like when Bitcoin was like $1,000. Well, I mean, when I first started, it was 75, and even then, I kind of knew this is going to dominate, but you don't realize about the scale of it, and thinking, I mean, $60,000 like back then would have been like, oh my god, this is insanity. You wouldn't have believed it, and probably lots of Bitcoin maximalists back then wouldn't have as well. But obviously, as time goes past, you realize how ridiculous life is, and the fact is that this 400,000 prediction, I sat there and I almost needed to slap myself in the face, and I was like, yeah, 400,000, that seems about right. And I was like, no, that's lunacy. And then I thought, well, no, it's not, because when it was 1,000, I didn't think 19,000 would be, or 19,000, whatever, 100 it was in December 2017, and then obviously recently going up to 60. There's no way, even in like a November last year, I'd have been like 60k. Like, yeah, probably, I don't know, few years, keep slow. And I feel like the tortoise and the hare, like that I sat there, even myself, thinking, taking it too easy, and then Bitcoin, like with a rocket up its ass, just went like that, and it just mooned, and it's going to do that again. And I agree that it doesn't feel like the top of the market. Although what I will say is that my mum phoned me today, and she said, I tried to call you earlier, and I was like, oh, I saw you missed call, Mum. She said, okay, well, I sold some of my Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, I heard about this Cardano. There's going to be smart contracts next week. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to be the top. So hopefully she didn't make a move. But no, I think that 400K isn't too out there. But I don't know. Maybe this bull run. Is it outside of the lines? Is everyone going by stock to flow? Is it outside the lines of stock to flow, or is it still inside the lines at 400K?
He makes those lines pretty hard to read.
It's outside, yeah.
There's like a range. It's in the box, like
between 100K and 288. Yeah. So 400K is really pushing it into the red zone. I think Josh is always looking at this rainbow moon math.win charts. So I wouldn't know if it's within those lines either.
It's beautiful. Moon.math. Can't get enough of that.
One thing I will say on the prediction side, though, is fun fact: 100% of the people that predicted the world would end have all been incorrect.
Even Nostradamus. However, seeing Paris Hilton and Dan's mom both lining up for Bitcoin, that could be the sign of the apocalypse. Jed Grant, your thoughts on the price of Bitcoin and 400,000?
I agree with what Ben said. I think 400K this year is a bit of a stretch. Predictions are always tough because of the timeline. I think 400,000 is a no-brainer. It's just a question of when. The best prediction that I've seen recently was Perianne Boring from the Digital Chamber of Commerce. She did a little interview, and she said something at the end of it. She said, by 2029, one Bitcoin will equal 10,000 ounces of gold. That means $17.5 million per coin.
Nice.
2029. All we have to do is just count down. We'll just wait. I'll just sit here.
Just hang out.
And I like that she's calculating in gold. I mean, this is what Voltura is all about, is trying to get away from the US dollar, trying to stop calculating this stuff in this funny, imagine we've got this rare thing. Let's measure it on this thing that we've got infinite of. It makes no sense. There's no reality there. I mean, the fact of the matter is the only reason there is a reality there is because you also measure corn, pork bellies, and a whole bunch of real commodities against this weird funny money stuff. So you can get a sort of a feel, but it's very difficult with inflation and the amount of jiggery pokery going on there and manipulation. And when airline stocks are at all-time high, yet they're all grounded, I don't trust anything anymore.